Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live. Some may call it Cruisday Night Live. I am your host, Tony, and we're here to talk about everything going on in cruising. Look, I got some weird news about my next cruise, and I'm going to talk about it, but let's give it 10 minutes. It's not a very extensive piece of news, probably only take 1 or 2 minutes to cover. So let's give folks time to get here. But for all of you early birds, welcome. And I'm here to answer your cruising questions. So if you have a cruise question or a comment, just type question or comment in capital letters before your question or comment, and I will be happy to answer it. A big shout out to my lovely wife, the lovely Jenny B, is in the chat. She had a family obligation tonight, but it sounds like she's at home. And then also my beautiful daughter Danielle is here too. Danny Diddy. They were together, and now they're together again virtually. But yes, let's answer some questions. Michelle Stevenson with a great question. Cruising adjacent, what music stores do you recommend in Tampa? I like a place called Mojo Records and Books. That's a straight up Tampa. And then I think it's either considered St. Peter's. I think it's considered St. Petersburg, but Banana Records is one of the best record stores, I would say, within 100 miles. I am having some fun on my little YouTube channel called Loca Vinyl. So if you guys are into vinyl records or music, please check out one of my little hobby YouTube channels, Loca Vinyl. Let me see if it'll pull up the link, VINYL. Does that come up as a link? Nah, maybe it doesn't. But Loca Vinyl, check that out. Okay, actually, it does say go to channel. Yeah, maybe you can get there from there. If you like records, subscribe for more. And I've been doing some tours. Like I toured Granddaddy Records in Brooksville. I toured Rocket Records here in Spring Hill. And so, yeah, there you go. Question, have you been going to... Tony, you said you're going, Lady Wagonator 5305. You said you're going to be in the Bahamas at the end of the month. What is your itinerary? Just a short cruise. We leave on a Friday. I think we end up in the Bahamas on a Saturday, and then sea day on a Sunday, home on Monday. Jenny and Danny, is that the thing? Is that the itinerary? We're either in Nassau on Saturday or Sunday of that at the end of the month. Tracy Spitz, have you sailed on the Regal Princess? I feel like I have sailed on the Regal Princess. I feel like I have. Yes, I liked it. I haven't really. There's only one Princess ship that I don't currently want to sail on again, and it's only because I've done it so much. That would be the Caribbean Princess. But all the other ones. My brother Retro Sarge just came back from a sailing to the Panama Canal. I think he was on the Caribbean Princess. Between us, we've sailed on that ship 1,000 times. But welcome home, my brother. Adventures of the V2s. Question, have you ever done back-to-back cruise? Going on my first 118 on Oasis. Any tips to share about the transition to the second cruise? If you're in the same cabin, it's perfect. You don't have to do anything. But if you do have to move cabins, they will move your luggage for you. So I would pretty early in the week of the first cruise interface with your room steward or with customer service to find out what you need to do with your luggage if you're changing the rooms. But if you're not, then you should be fine. Databetic with a Mitch Hedberg joke. My record shop specializes in hard to find records. Nothing in the shop is alphabetized. Sometimes that's the way it is. When I started collecting vinyl again recently, I forgot that a lot of times the record store, they don't really have their records inventoried. So, you're going in there and go, hey, you got this? And like, yeah, I think so. Some do have their stuff inventoried, but that's the beautiful thing I like about records is the digging. The digging. Terrence Bodie, thank you for this question. I am going on the Carnival. I am Carnival Platinum, but we're looking at other lines for a family of 3. Who do you like, MSC, Celebrity, or something else? It depends what you like to get into. I think MSC is certainly comparable to the Carnival experience. Plus, they'll do a status match. Royal is probably a little more chill than Carnival, but a similar product. Once you get to the Princess and the Celebrity, you're stepping up a little bit. But I think either one of those would be good. I would probably try MSC first just to see how it fits you. Question, how do you do international air flight, business, or whatever I can afford? Most of the time I am upgrading at some point. I've bought 2 economy seats. Like when I flew to China, I went in 2 economy seats. I bought 2 seats the whole way. When I went to Australia, I paid a whole lot of money to go in one of those lay down seats. I think the last time I flew to London, I did economy plus or something. They had something that was below business, but maybe two levels above economy. So it costs more obviously if you're bigger and you need a bigger seat. But yeah, that's usually what I do. That's what I do. Is it easy to get from Tampa cruise port or from the airport to the cruise port trying to book a side to side? I would say yes, Dan. Like I've never had to do that because we live just south of Tampa, so we're gonna drive to the cruise port, and but like for us, we pass the airport to get to the cruise port, and I can get to the cruise port in about 45 minutes. So I think the airport to the cruise port is only about 15 minutes. Of course, there's tons of Uber. If you work with your cruise line, there's probably a shuttle over there. So I think you'll be fine. Brian's going to be going on a Holland America to Panama Canal. That's sweet. British Isles on Regal. That was a great cruise, that British Isles cruise. Question from Carrie Seibel. My 2.5-year-old granddaughter wants to know if you can please start juggling again. Thank you, Mr. Tony. Yeah, I juggled day before yesterday. So yeah, definitely the juggling balls are here. Yeah, definitely we'll be doing some juggling. Let's see. Thanks, Tony and Michelle. We are changing cabins. There you go. Tony, did you see they announced there will be? Oh, that could be my big news. Don't spoil the news. That was the big piece of news that threw me off this week. Wild Roots Learning question: what is the etiquette for cruising with kids? Watch your kids. That's the etiquette. Be a parent. That's I think that's the end of it. Like as long as you watch your kids, I think the problem that I see on cruise ships is I think parents don't. I because you're on vacation, I think it's easy to be like, hey, I'm on vacation, so I shouldn't be a great parent and people should accommodate my kids. Nobody should accommodate your kids. You should try to put yourself in other people's shoes and say, would I be annoyed if other people's kids were acting like my kids are acting right now? And I think just be a good parent's the etiquette when it comes to kids on a cruise. Gosh, what are these? These are the ones that start with a Z, right? Yeah, Zytco. Back in the day when I first started juggling, you couldn't get a lot of props. I used to use the Brian Dubé bean bags, but these have been pretty good. But they're starting to come apart. Like they are starting to leak a little bit. And then my silicone balls are Brian Dubé all the way back from 1994. Databetic said, "Let them loose and see what happens." Oh, we've seen what happens when they get let loose. Question: what are your thoughts on NCL rebranding 99 days till cruise day? I don't really know anything other than they changed the logo, so I don't know. It doesn't. I'm not moved yet, so we'll have to see. I'm gonna need more information before I even care, I think. The sing and smash. I do when I'm worried about it. I will book 2 Southwest flights. They changed their policy though recently. They used to let you book 2 flights without paying for it. You'd only have to pay for one, but you could still book the second. Well, I don't know. I think you could get a second seat at the airport. I always just paid for 2. And what did the policy change? When I go on Southwest, I book online, I pay for 2 seats, and then when I get back from traveling, we contact customer support, and then they give us the money back on 1 seat. I think now they're going to start checking, and if the flight was full, you may not get that money back on the second seat. But I always just say in my mind, I'm just going to have to pay for 2 seats. But Southwest is who I normally do. But now that they, the nice thing about Southwest too is they would give you priority boarding, and when it was choose your own seat, it made it easy to get good seats. So. Big Fish, did Carnival contact you about the casino fee situation? No, I don't anticipate they will, and I don't even think I want to talk to him. Like, what do I care? Like, I'm not that interested. Like, what are they going to tell me? The fee's the fee, and I don't want to pay it. So I don't expect any resolution from that from Carnival. They never really talked to me about anything, so I don't anticipate hearing from them. Question: my wife and I are doing a cruise. This is from Jammin John KS. My wife and I are doing a cruise in February to the U.S., British Virgin Isles, and Dominican Republic. Are there any shore excursions you like in those locations? My wife uses a scooter. Dominican Republic, I'm not. It doesn't come to mind. If anybody's got good recommendations for Dominican Republic, but in the Islands, if you go to like St. Thomas, there's a lot of cool stuff to do. You can get a bus to the top of the mountain, like an excursion. I don't know what you guys like to do. Magens Bay is considered one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. There's certainly excursions there on St. Thomas, but then there's like this banana daiquiri place at the top of a mountain, which is part of most excursions. Do that. I think there's a pirate museum in walking distance to the port. There's a like a chairlift that will take you, that'll let you look down over the ships. It's just one of the most beautiful places, St. Thomas. So I would do any or all of that. Question for anyone: any plans to cruise Margaritaville's newest ship, the Beachcomber? I think so. I don't think it comes out till 2027. I was thinking about that this week, but yeah, definitely. Thoughts on MSC Yacht Club? I've never sailed in the Yacht Club, Joya, but everybody that I've heard that said they've done that, they like it, so it's probably worth it. A question from Main Man. I know you haven't been there yet, but based on posted reviews, what are your thoughts on the Royal Beach Club? I'll be there Monday and concerned about the crowds. I haven't seen it crowded yet. It looks pretty fun. I'm gonna go on my cruise at the end of the month, so I need to book that. Hopefully, it hasn't sold out. But yeah, I'm gonna try to go at the end of the month and get a bird's eye view so that I can give you a more informed. It looks pretty cool, actually. Beermaster, thank you so much for the super sticker. Beermaster laying it down. #1 fan. I believe it. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Super sticker. Thank you for saying I'm looking good there. Pedantic MC Pender. Yeah. Still losing. I haven't taken my Zepbound shot since before the last cruise, and I finally started gaining weight again. So I gotta take the shot again. But what did I weigh this morning? 351 something. But my lowest that I'd gotten to is 345. So I'm up 6 pounds over the going to the cruise, going through Christmas, going through New Year's, and we haven't really. There was a lot of food around, so yeah, I gotta get on it. Got to get on it. ERC Cruises. I live local in Galveston. Any Galvy trips planned to? So no, not really. I mean, the last time I went to Galveston was because the Jubilee was there. The problem with me living on the west coast of Florida is I can go to all of those same cruise ports that you can go to from Galveston, from Tampa for the most part. And so it doesn't make sense for me to go all the way to Galveston to do that same cruise. Now, if a new ship comes out there, probably go over there, but I don't know. I do like Texas. I've never been to Austin, so I still would love to go to Austin. That's always part of the goal, and I don't know if that would include a cruise. The state's so freaking big anyways. I was in Dallas last year. I love that. But I'd like to go to Austin and San Antonio. I should go back to Texas, but I don't know if it will include a cruise. Any thoughts on Carnival Venezia? I was either on Firenze or Venezia. I was on one of them. I like the Italian style, I think. So suggestion what to do in the Yucatan. I would go see how tequila's made. That's some of those places in the Yucatan is where tequila came from. So that'd be pretty good. Let's see. Icon sailing from Galveston later. I'm not sure. I'm not super tall, Darren. I think, at some point I used to be 6 foot, but I think the last time I docked, I'm 5'11" or something like that. I feel like I'm still 6 foot. I'm still going to claim 6 foot. Thoughts on Grandeur of the Seas? I don't know if I've been on Grandeur. I haven't. There's not a royal ship I don't like. The problem with me, you guys, is I love cruising so much that even when I have a bad time, I have a good time. So you're going to ask me about ships. Like the one ship that I can think of that I should be mad at is the Carnival Elation when our ceiling fell in. But I still had a good time on that cruise. But yeah, there's no royal ship that I thought, oh, I hate this ship. So I think, so much of life and cruising is what you make it. So I would say if you're going on Grandeur of the Seas, start telling yourself now it's going to be an awesome time. Question, why so much hate for Ensenada? The fish tacos are legit and the wine country is superb, plus the downtown area is fun. I don't know if I've put a lot of hate on Ensenada. I didn't have a good time when I went to the La Bufadora because of the aggressive vendors, but the tacos that they had there were amazing. But yeah, Is Ensenada the place with the long pier? Or is that no? That might be something else. But yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like those vendors there at the La Bufadora. Let's see. Icon is going to Galveston. How about that? Penguins says Big Tony, I'm going on Luna later this year. Any plans to? I don't know, but we are going to get a little preview of the entertainment of Luna that I hope to share with you guys in the near future. So I don't know if that's going to include me going on Luna, but I do. Of the new ships that are coming out this year, Legend, Luna. What else is coming to the U.S.? I think the big ones are Legend and Luna. Is Princess getting another ship out this year? I don't know, but Luna's probably it could be on the list. Could be on the list. Question from Kenny: Which is better? Which is a better port to cruise out of? Which has the best itineraries? Miami or Tampa or Cape Canaveral? Well, so Tampa, you're going to have a limited amount of ships, and those ships have to be small enough to go under the Skyway Bridge. A lot of the cruises out of Tampa are going to go Western Caribbean. You might get some Tampa that goes down Eastern and Southern Caribbean. You're going to get more choice out of Miami, I would say, and Port Canaveral. So for me, because it's so easy for me to get to Port Canaveral, I prefer that over Miami. But whichever one you can get to of those two, that's going to be your best option. You're going to have a ton of options in Miami or Port Canaveral. So first decide which one's the easiest one to get to, and I would do that. Let's see. Hans Wolf, I haven't heard of Princess coming out with more ships. I'll be on the Elation in March. Is it small or comfortable? It's both. I mean, it's some of the oldest hardware in the Carnival fleet, and what's it? A little over 1,000 people. It's so easy to get around, and we've had a good time though. Yeah, other than the roof falling in, we had a good time on Elation, and we've had a good time on Paradise, and good time on Fantasy before it went away. Oh wow, Fasted Travel is going to be on the first sailing of Luna. It's the one before the inaugural. How about that? Islander's really nice. Margaritaville at Sea Islander. I enjoyed that. I was on Paradise. I know they've done some upgrades, but Paradise was a bit rough. Paradise was a bit rough. All right. Well, it's 20 minutes in. So the big news that we got this week, our upcoming cruise on the 30th is the Comic-Con cruise. That is hosted by a company called ECP, Entertainment Cruise Productions. They work in partnership with the San Diego Comic-Con, the official Comic-Con. What was cool last year is I went last year. It was the very first one, and they gave you all this swag that said Comic-Con Volume 1. And I'm assuming when we get on this ship on the 30th, we'll have a bunch of swag that says Comic-Con Volume 2. And well, they put out a post, I guess it was yesterday, that said, that's it. Due to a light demand or whatever, there will be no more Comic-Con cruises. So if you had any aspirations of going on a Comic-Con cruise, there's not going to be one. So that's a little bit disappointing. That ECP also, they do the Star Trek cruise and the 80s cruise. They didn't mention the 90s cruise in their information, and they do a 90s cruise. They also do like a motorcycle rally cruise. And I think the reason they put that announcement out before we went on this cruise is at the end of the cruise last year, you were able to book the next year at a discount. And so I think maybe they're preparing people who thought maybe, hey, I need to, put a deposit down on the volume 3, just to let people know there's not going to be a volume 3. So that was surprising news. Now I don't think it's going to hinder the fun that we're going to have coming up at the end of the month, but it's that's pretty wild. Michelle says, do I think Margaritaville is generally improving? Certainly. If you track what they've been doing over the years, they're definitely getting better. I don't know how much money they put into Islander, but that's an old Carnival cruise ship. They got it from Costa, but it's the same as I think the Spirit class of cruise ship. and it was nice. I mean, it was really well done. So I'm very impressed with what Margaritaville is doing. Question from Joya: best way to get to the port? Would you stay near the port versus staying in Orlando? Canaveral, I would stay at the port. I like waking up and just being able. If I don't have my own car, I want to stay at one of those hotels where I can just take an Uber or get the shuttle from the hotel over to the cruise port. There's nothing better than waking up at one of those hotels in Canaveral that's right near the cruise port and going outside and like seeing the cruise ship just down the way. But Shelby, our cruise wasn't canceled this coming up, the second volume of Comic-Con. It's just going to be the last one. Question, have you finished the Steamboat? Yes, it's done. It's a little heavy, and that base is interesting. I don't want to carry it, but the paddle wheel moves, and the rudder moves. It's really cool. Hans Wolf praying for Don. Yeah, certainly. If you're out there and you're somebody who prays, our friend Don got some pretty rough medical news over the last couple days. I talked to him a little bit today. He's in good spirits, but it was a tough report. So if you're somebody that sends up the positive thoughts or praise, please have a good thought for our friend Don. Sean Wigg said, I'm glad I signed up for volume. Yeah, who knew? Who knew it was going to be one and done? If I ever want to give the paddle boat away. Yeah, so I'm really trying to hone in on what I want to do with Lego. I've been more of a collector than a builder. So I think I'm going to have to thin out some of my Lego collection. And I'm trying to decide what themes I want to build. But I know for sure travel and boats and, like botanicals. I just have to, like, the big thing I'm struggling with now is I've got a decent amount of Star Wars, a decent amount of Marvel, and I do have most of the Lord of the Rings, the more recent sets. But I think I'm gonna have to let the Lord of the Rings stuff go. I don't think I want to collect all of those. ERC Cruises. I can tell your wife Brittany hello. Hello. The lighthouse was such a cool build. I really like it. I built the Star Trek. It's at the house. I don't know where to put it. Yeah, the Star Trek. I don't know what other Star Trek sets they're gonna make. Record question: any Nirvana in the collection? I have Nevermind. I have. That's good. I should look for. I'm gonna go to a record. Like there's this record store in Clearwater that has. They have a thing where just anybody can come set up a table. It's a huge record store, but then they also have this. What would you call it? Like a swap meet or something like that. They're gonna have that this weekend. I should look for Heart Shaped Box, but I have Nevermind and I have the Unplugged. Were you on Carnival Celebration last month and twice the emergency silence when a false alarm has it? Oh, we were on. I've never had false alarms. I mean, thank you so much for the super chat, Joshua. Never false alarms per se, but I mean, I've been on board with drills before. That's wild. Twice the emergency siren went off as false alarms. Was everybody like making the move to go to the muster drill and all that? That's crazy. Do I think the Foo Fighters are the natural evolution and improvement from Nirvana? Now, I've listened to a lot of interviews with Dave Grohl and I've read his book. I think Dave is a singular thing, right? Like he'd been in a lot of bands before he made it to Nirvana. He wasn't the original drummer for Nirvana. I don't know that it's an evolution, but I think it's an evolution for Dave, if that makes any sense. I think Dave's really one of the great modern rock stars. I mean, I think he's got flaws like everybody else, but I think Nirvana was a singular thing that sparked a movement, but I also think that Dave stands alone with his creative efforts. Hello, grumpy dude from Destin, Florida. Now I got Nirvana songs running through my head. I did get Post Malone's tribute to Nirvana on Record Store Day. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I probably need to thin that one out of my collection. Fasted travel, considering doing like 3 backs to back. Do it. Do it. Do it. I don't have any. So after we got to get some stuff on the books because after this Comic-Con cruise, nothing for the rest of February and nothing in March. Zephyr Hills in the house. Florida in the house. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Hit the like. Metallica in the collection. I just have Master of Puppets. I would love to get some of the original pressings, but I think Master's what I listen to the most, and I probably spun that. I've had Masters for probably. I think Jenny got me the record player in February. I blame it on Margaritaville. That was the genesis. When I was on Margaritaville in January, they showed us this record room that had a bunch of records. I went home and I was talking up vinyl. For our anniversary in February, Jenny got me a record player. I probably picked up the Metallica Masters of Puppets February, March, maybe April. And I probably spun that thing 10 or 11 times. That's probably my favorite Metallica album, but I can listen to Ride the Lightning all the way through. I can listen to And Justice for All. I probably should get the Black Album, but it was so commercially successful. I've heard all those songs so much, which is crazy. Let's see. Beer Master, do you anticipate any decrease in cruise bookings or interest with additional fees, taxes, more competition, reduction service? Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a breaking point where cruising becomes more expensive than people want to pay. I think the cruise lines they follow that closely. That's what's going to happen, right? Demand's so high right now. We're going to get maybe 30 million cruisers this year. People are paying the prices, but once people stop paying the prices, then the prices will decrease. But I haven't seen much signs of that slowing down right now. The like button, if you're watching on your phone or something, you may have to close out of the chat, hit the like button, and then open up the chat. Yeah, all those tracks on the Black Album's really good for Metallica. Again, I just think I've heard that so much everywhere that I still like to go back to the older stuff. Thank you, Glenn. Kind words. Kind words. You guys are nice. Thank you so much. Thank you, Natalie, for the nice words. Get a picture with Jason Isaacs. Go get a picture with Tony and Jenny B. There you go. The nice thing is our pictures won't cost anything. That was the wild thing to me. So I went on the Comic-Con cruise, and then I went on the 80s cruise, which is a music cruise. You know, where I stayed, I think it was on deck 4. They had to walk the talent by my cabin to get to the stage to do the panels. And so, like, Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters walked by, George Takei walked by, some of the folks from Battlestar Galactica. You're not supposed to talk to them. When you see these people out and about, they don't want you talking to them. And of course, you have to pay for their autograph and you have to pay for their pictures. And I didn't do any of that on the Comic-Con cruise. But on the 80s cruise, all those rockers are just excited. They would just seem very excited. They would stop and talk. You could take pictures. It was such a weird contrast. But Jenny B and it doesn't cost anything to get pictures with us. Just don't say anything mean. Like, don't say you don't like the show. Don't tell me you don't like the intro. Don't tell me because as soon as you start telling me what you don't like about me, I don't like you anymore. It's so much better when we like each other. Korth Peterson, have you heard if Hawaii cruises are going to change because of the new taxes? I would say it will change. Right now the cruise industry's got them to put the tax on hold. They've had an injunction, but I think if it goes forward and there's no compromise, I think the cruise companies will make a change. Let's see. Gay, what's up? I feel like I just talked to you a little while ago. Our friend Gay is here from Australia. Thank you so kindly for the super chat. Question, if you're doing a back-to-back on Royal, can you bring your soda allotment on embarkation day for both cruises on the first embarkation day? I don't know. That's an interesting question. You may have to ask. Royal or something. I don't know if Royal allow you to do it, but the Carnival brands, you can buy soda along the way. So maybe your last port stop, you could get more soda. I assume if you're in the same cabin, whatever soda you can get in there. But I don't know if they're going to let you bring 2 per person because you're staying that extra time. Captain's Blimder. Have you ever heard of MSC Concierge contacting customers direct via email to book the latest? I've never heard of that. That does sound like a phishing attempt. Databetic, thank you so much for the super chat. It'll be okay. Just start charging for the interaction. Nah, that would be weird. Ever going to go on the Star Trek cruise? I don't think, Eric, I'm not that much of a Star Trek fan. I like the Next Generation. I watch most of those episodes, but I don't. For you end up paying a premium for these cruises. Like I think I would go on the View Askew, the Kevin Smith cruise before Star Trek. I would probably do another music cruise. I did have a good time on the '80s cruise for the music aspect of it, but there's a whole social aspect of it that I didn't connect with super well. I think maybe a music cruise or that Kevin Smith cruise. Any thoughts on Royal's new beach club? It looks nice from everything. I watched our friend Griffin Alyssa's video. It was really good. I've seen people I don't know's video. It looked really cool. I think I'm going to try to go there at the end of the month. That's a good one, Michelle. If you were from Australia and you work in an IT, are you from a land down under? It's so funny on the Vinyl channel. I really wish I could figure out how to do this for the cruising community and maybe next year, but in the vinyl community, they have a tag video and they call it the Vinyl Tag 2026 video. And I think the second question on there was, what was a great live show you saw in 2025? I am still giddy about getting to see Colin Hay and that iteration of Men at Work that he put together on the 80s cruise. It was so good. It was so good. What's the best food truck at Celebration Key? I heard the donuts are really good. Pink Lady, I only tried one and it wasn't good. It was like some chicken thing, so I don't have a good point of reference as to what the good one is. What about cruises to the ABC Islands? If you can get one, go. I love those islands. It seems like everything's chilled down right now. I don't, before the thing that happened earlier in the week, Norwegian had canceled a couple stops to Curacao, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to keep watching it. Those are some great islands. I hope they don't slow them down. Question: we're doing Holland America 14-day Ireland Scotland cruise in August. What do you think of Holland? Been on the Eurodam, been on the Noordam, been on the New Amsterdam. No, I've been on the Rotterdam. I tell you what, I like those ships. The Rotterdam, especially. I did 26 days on the Rotterdam. Went from New York to Rotterdam around Northern Europe, and ended up in Amsterdam. It's one of my favorite cruises. Good rock and roll music on there. The crowd's a little older. It's a little laid back, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Question: any thoughts on cruising as a bigger guy, and what's your favorite cruise for Alaska on Alaska cruising? Yeah, I mean I haven't had trouble doing much in Alaska. Of course, I tend to gravitate to like whale watching and stuff that's on where the one time I had trouble being heavy is I wanted to take a helicopter ride to a glacier, and I was going to have to pay, I think, double the price because I was going to take up, double the weight in the helicopter. But I was prepared to do that, and it got rained out. But yeah, all the cruise lines I've been on in Alaska have been good. Been to Princess, been on Carnival, I've been on Norwegian. Going to go on Holland this year to Alaska. They have a great reputation. I feel like Princess, of those that have gone on, Princess does it the best with their naturalists. There's some really great Princess naturalists. But again, if you already have a favorite cruise line there, I would try them first. But if not, I would pick Holland or Alaska. Or not Alaska, Holland or Princess. The Uber cruiser, Ian, I better give you what I gave Matt Allen the other day. Can't have favorites. Aw, thanks for spreading it around, Ian. We appreciate you, buddy. Thanks for the super chat. Let's see. Can I take a bottle or Stella Rosa with my wine in my carry-on? So in most of these cruise lines, for the bottle, you can only take a 750 milliliter bottle of wine or sparkling wine. You're not gonna be able to take any kind of alcohol or beer of that size. So that's probably the only limitation. Question: your thoughts on Royal putting the newest Oasis class ships on short cruises? Just got off the Wonder and it was packed to the gills. I think it's smart. Honestly, I mean, they have the Icon and Legend or whatever. They're not short cruises, so I think it's very smart. I like the idea of like, hey, we want to get people hooked on cruising. So instead of putting them on 20-year-old rundown, rusted cruise ships to try to get them hooked, let's put them on the best. You can't see all of an Oasis class ship in 3 days. And so, you know, they're going to have to come back. I think it's super smart. I think it's playing out well for them, actually. Man, I tell you, the Colin Hayes song, Dizarella, the Colin Hayes song that's ripping me up. There's a great album that I purchased on the 80s cruise called Man at Work. Instead of Men at Work, it was Colin Hayes' Man at Work. And there's a song on there called Waiting for My Real Life to Begin. Crushes. It's so emotional. Bobby Isaac question. Tony, this is wife and I 10-year anniversary in October. What are your suggestions for a cruise around that time? October? I don't know if you do like sun and beaches and stuff like that. Caribbean's always nice, but for something special, man, try to go to like a St. Thomas or a Aruba and Curacao. I mean, I wouldn't do like a Nassau or a Cozumel or something like that. So I'd pick maybe one of the more pristine Caribbean islands. There's a lot of fun to be had in Nassau and Cozumel. Don't get me wrong, but for a little romance or something, I would probably go down to like one of those real beachy areas. But for me, in October, maybe you like to go up the East Coast and see the leaves change. It's a dicey proposition, though, because we had horrible weather. We didn't get to see a lot of stuff. Or you could always go to Europe. But yeah. What about the ABC Islands cruise so near Venezuela? Well, right now, most of the cruise companies are still going there. But I think if you're booking that right now, while there's some conflict going on, it may not happen. So just keep that in mind when you're booking. But the cruise lines aren't stopping going there. Norwegian has skipped Curacao a couple times, but NCL doesn't have desserts in their buffet. I've gotten desserts at the NCL buffet. Question from Canadian Springs: are you doing a Mediterranean cruise this year? Actually, we are. We booked most of our October and November will be in the Med. The sunglasses sponsor, the glasses sponsor Pair Eyewear. Got to go find that video because there's some sort of discount code. But Pair Eyewear is the customizable frames, right? So magnetic top frames, and then you got the old sunnies, right? And then the cool thing is you can even put the top frames over the sunglasses, so we can customize it even more. How about that? Pair, Pair, Pair Eyewear. If I see cold chisel while I'm shopping for vinyl, get it. I'll be on the lookout. I still got this cold, man. Rough. Do you suggest doing the expensive excursions for a first-time Alaska cruiser, or should we walk the cities instead? Like go whale watching. It might be expensive, but go whale watching. I think you can walk around Skagway. I don't know. I'd say first time you go to Skagway, maybe you want to do the White Rail Pass. People love that. I didn't love it, but I think I'm the anomaly there. Ketchikan's cool to walk around. I would mix it up. I would definitely spend some money on some excursions, but then maybe pick one of those cities, Skagway or Ketchikan, just to walk around. The Creek Street in Ketchikan's amazing. A lot of cool history there. So yeah. That's a good question, though. Question from Lizzie McTee: is Cozumel where you did the Lucha Libre experience? I saw it listed as possible. Yes, it was great. I mean, if you like wrestling at all, it was a 6-on-6 match or a 3-on-3 match. It might have been 6-on-6. I don't know. It might have been 3-on-3. It was a very entertaining 90 minutes. Like, you definitely got your money's worth out of it. In Utero. Well, what's the hit on In Utero? All apologies. Is that on there? I don't know. Honest opinion on the Carnival Pride. I don't know if we've been on it. Did we take the Pride somewhere? I don't know. Again, I'm horrible for this stuff because there's not a cruise ship I really dislike. There's probably some I like better than others, but I just feel very lucky to be going cruising. I think I did pick up a Rush album campaign team like out of a bargain bin. I'm not a huge Rush fan. I do appreciate them as what they've done as musicians. What I didn't know, I follow this guy that goes through the list of new vinyl that's coming out. And on his list this week, I guess there's some reissues of two Steely Dan albums that I didn't know about. Now, because when I was in London last year, I watched a documentary on yacht rock, and it kind of turned me on to Steely Dan. And when I started buying vinyl, I bought most of all of Steely Dan's early catalog. I love it. I didn't think I would like it, like because we always used to make fun of it because I think one time they beat Kiss out for a Grammy or something like that. But yeah, there's I got to get my hands on these two reissues of Steely Dan, two albums I've never even heard of. I got to go back and watch the guy's video again and find out what they're called. My best all-time cruise is tough, Big Fish. I've had a lot of great ones. I mean, you can look at some of the big tent posts ones like Japan and Australia and those kind of things. But I've had some very like the first time Jenny B and I went on the Oasis of the Seas holds such a special place in my heart. I don't know. It's hard to pick one. Pride is like the Spirit we were on in Alaska. Yeah, the Spirit was good in Alaska. So yeah, it's good. Easy to get around. Shout out to Shut Up and Listen Records. Yeah, I've got all this time. That might be fun too to do a vinyl hunting road trip. I have gone record shopping since I started collecting though, like in London and places like that. I'm gonna blow my nose. I'm gonna mute the. Question from Michelle: did you plan to be in the vow renewal, or was it more spontaneous? No, it was completely planned. Our friend Walter had a group cruise. Part of that group cruise was a vow renewal on the 4th of July. And months before that, he's like, "Hey, will you come be on our group cruise and do an event and do the vow renewal?" And we were like, "Yes, we will." Star of the Seas in April. How's the casino? I remember the casino being good. They do a pretty good job with non-smoking there, which I like a non-smoking casino. I don't remember. I like blackjack on Royal because they deal out of a shoe instead of an automatic shuffler. So I remember that being a plus. Plus, I'm Prime on Royal, so you know what that means? They don't charge me to get money at the blackjack table. I'm so mad at myself. It's my dumb fault for trying to avoid the fee the way I could have avoided the fee is just cruise on a different cruise line. Princess doesn't charge. Question: Royal is already heavily discounting Royal Beach Club in Nassau. Your thoughts on if charging for the club might backfire? No, I think it's gonna front fire. I think it's gonna be fine. As many people that get off in Cozumel and go to Mr. Sancho's and the Paradise Beach Club and Nachi Cacombe and all that stuff, they're going to have no trouble. And as many people that raise their hand and say, I don't want to get off at Nassau, I mean, it's like every other product that gets offered. They're going to have to find the sweet spot for the pricing. They know where they have to be to make money. And certainly they're probably, like they know how to make, a little bit of money. They know how to make medium amount of money. They know how to make a lot of money. The way the pricing works in most businesses is you start off with the let's make a lot of money. And if the consumer pushes back on that, then they scale it down and say, okay, let's try the price that makes a medium amount of money. And if the consumer pushes back on that, we'll say, okay, what's the minimal amount of money that we make? And you might get there. I'd be surprised if they were even close at that point. DHL1, do people buy you a drink when they run into a cruise? What is your drink of choice? I don't normally accept drinks or dinners or anything like that. I pretty much keep to myself. So, I'll certainly talk and get a picture and all that stuff, but I've been invited to all kinds of stuff. Hey, do you want to come see my cabin? Do you want to stop for a drink? I'm not good with strangers. So I'm happy to have a little bit of an interaction. And if we happen to be sitting at the same place, we'll have a longer interaction, but I'm usually a no thank you when it comes to drinks and dinner and all that kind of stuff. Penguin, you going to head more to PR with NCL Prima and Viva docking there now? When I covered that Prima and Viva docking in San Juan and going south into the Caribbean, it is very appealing. I like both of those ships. Well, I've never been on the Viva, but I do like the Prima. Of course, I've been on the Aqua, which is all the same ship for the most part. Um, yeah, it's very tempting because it's cheap to fly from Tampa down to San Juan. I love San Juan. Jenny and I have talked about that. I think that's next year that they're going to do that. It's very tempting. Very tempting. Yeah, so I did join Doug and Heather for teppanyaki on the celebration, but the difference is I know Doug and Heather. It's different once you get to know people. That's why the group cruises were good because we did make friends that way. And I've made friends at the casino that I've had dinner with, but I very rarely do something with somebody from cold because it's hard because I did that in the beginning and you just end up trying to, people want you to entertain them and it's a tough thing really. Because, I'm not as over the top in person as I might be just talking to my camera here. I can hit with the news again. The thing that I found out this week. So last year I went on the very first Comic Con cruise, Comic Con Volume One. They give you all this swag that said Comic Con Volume One. I even have like these collectible tiki things, pretty cool. And then this year is Comic Con Volume Two. So I'm assuming we're going to get some swag that says that. And then the announcement came out this week that there's going to be no more Comic Con after this year. So I guess it wasn't as received well as they wanted it to be. And so they're pulling the plug on the whole Comic Con cruise. A great partnership they have with San Diego Comic Con, ECP, and Comic Con, the organization, but not enough to sustain it. So there you go. Yeah, and to be fair, people that are inviting me to see their cabin are like, "Hey, I got a suite. Do you want to come see the suite, or you want, it's that kind of thing." And it's really nice. I mean, I don't. It's just not my thing, man. It's just not my thing. What's the best cruise ship to take a 14-year-old boy on? I would say something that's got a decent teen reputation. A Royal. It gets a little rowdy on Carnival, but Carnival has a good kids and teen area. But like a Royal, MSC, any of those are going to be good. Now, it depends what level you like to cruise at. There's definitely stuff for teenagers on Princess and Celebrity. It's not going to be as, I would say, teen friendly as the level down, but I think any of those will do it. I've only been on Prima for cold weather cruise. I did not enjoy the ship. Do you think Prima would be great for the Caribbean and warm weather? What didn't you like about the ship? I guess would be the question. Those ships are definitely a different vibe. It's small venues and not a huge pool deck. They try to lay it out more like a resort with small spaces. That was kind of the strategy. I like it. I mean, I like that area with the Starbucks. I thought the shows were good. I enjoyed the casino. I love the modern aesthetic. But I'm trying to think what I wouldn't like about it. I'm not a pool person, so it doesn't really matter to me there. It just depends what you're into. But the challenge thing was, like the Sid Normans, you couldn't hardly get in there. The comedy club was very small, so you had to kind of pick and choose what you wanted to wait in line for. Have you ever been on a music themed cruise? Yeah, last year I went on the '80s cruise. It was really good. I enjoyed it. The music was amazing. Have you been on a Magic cruise, like the cruise ship, the Carnival Magic? I don't think I've been on the Carnival Magic. I have been on a Disney cruise. I think I was on the Disney Magic or Disney Dream. That was pretty interesting. Insufficient seating, everything was outdoors. Yeah, that's a challenge. The small venues are a challenge. I asked them about it. We got to talk to I think the guy that runs the Haven, the restaurant. It's like, why is everything so small? And they're like, well, we're trying to come up with like this resort concept where the people were gathered in small pockets, and we had a lot of small venues all over the place. And I'm like, well, the problem is everybody wants to get in Sid Norman's and see that Fleetwood Mac show, so that's a little challenge. Question: would you go on a cruise to the ABC Islands now? Yes, those are some of my favorite spots. Aruba. I've never been to Bonaire, but I do love Aruba and Curacao. What's the best travel insurance company instead of booking? It's tough. It depends what you want. We have an annual plan with a company called Allianz. It's spelled like alliance with a Z, but Allianz. Uh, there's a lot of things you go to insuremytrip.com and key in the kind of coverage that you want, and they'll give you different prices. But depends. We have that annual plan. The big thing for us is medical coverage and then emergency evacuation. Best game show on cruises. I'm going to say the Family Feud on Carnival Celebration, the Carnival XL class. I've never had a bad time in those. I'm not a huge fan of the Yes No Game Show. My buddy Don loves that, and he's good at it. But I don't. I don't play it, and it's fun. It's fun to watch Don play it. But other than that, I don't really care about it. Best cruise out of Tampa. Gosh, I would say if I'm cruising out of Tampa and I wanted something unique that I knew was good, I would go on Margaritaville at Sea Islander. We've been on the Paradise out of Tampa several times. What about the ABC Island being so close to Venezuela? If the cruise ships are going there, then somebody's done the evaluation that it's safe. I'm fine with that. I trust that. The thing you got to remember at the end of the day is safety is the top priority for the cruise line, and it's not because they're nice people. It's just it's a financial thing. If all of a sudden you get cruisers killed by making bad decisions, which could happen, certainly could happen, but that they're not really, their decisions are well thought out because dead cruisers is bad for business. Question: how does annual insurance plan versus trip coverage work? How many trips before it makes sense? I don't know. For us, it does. You'd have to. I can't remember what I was paying on the individual, but we realized once we were doing 2 or 3 trips, it made more sense. Quest is fun. What do you? Which cruise line do you like the Quest on? Some of them get a little more crazy than others. Are New England Canada Carnival cruises less rowdy than Caribbean cruises? Here's what I think. And my friend Tommy, we do this podcast. If you guys want even more cruise talk, Tommy from the Always Book Cruise podcast and myself, we do a thing called Cruise Talk Weekly. And he said it well in this last week. He said most of the problem happens after normal people, not normal people, but like chilled out people go to sleep. I don't think I've only, I've been on 77 cruises or something like that. I, Less rowdy. I can't even really think of a bunch of. I haven't seen a lot of rowdy in all of my cruises, but I'm never really at the club, and I'm not really up super. I mean, sometimes in the casino to 2, 3 in the morning, but um, I guess it just depends on the people. Maybe New England Carnival's less crowded, or I mean less rowdy, but the Caribbean, I don't know. I think it just depends on the people. Do you think? I don't know. Do you guys think that younger people are more inclined to be aggressive than older people? I mean, that could be a thing too. Like, go on a cruise line with older people. I don't know. I've never seen a fight in all my cruises, that kind of thing. The only fights I've ever seen are like on video and stuff. But then, like I said, my friend Tommy was saying he was talking to somebody that was a bartender, and she says she sees fights frequently. So I don't know. Question from Mario. I'm an Uber driver in Miami. Everyone I pick up from Virgin Cruises absolutely love it. Not so much from other lines. Your thoughts? Virgin's great. I mean, I think Virgin converts a lot of people. People go on Virgin and they like it. It's a little bit divergent from normal, like from the main cruise lines, and they treat you really well. So I'm surprised that people don't like other cruises, but I can see people liking Virgin Cruises. Have you ever watched The Love Boat? Did it spark your interest in? It didn't really spark my interest in cruising. I think after my interest in cruising was sparked, I watched The Love Boat. Let's see. Is there anything that old school cruising from the 70s or 80s? I don't know. I kind of like cruising the way it is. I don't. All that back in the 70s where you had to dress up and I don't know. I didn't like that. Where people all had to sit together and had to be more social. I don't know. Yeah, Michelle, I mean, you bring up a good point. So, I think we live in a time, and I've said this before, I think we live in a time where people feel more emboldened to shoot their mouth off. Like everybody's like, hey, I can say whatever I want because I do that online. And, now like I'm entitled to say anything. So I think what you have is a convergence of more people that are willing to shoot their mouth off, and then you have an increased amount of cruisers, and in that increased amount of cruisers you're going to run into the person that will hit you. You know what I mean? And so I think when you see these fights or something like that, that's what you end up have happening. You have people that are emboldened to shoot their mouth off, and then every once in a while you have somebody that's like, okay, you want to shoot your mouth off, let's fight. Thank you, Mario. Very kind, very kind. Doug liked the Midnight Chocolate Buffet. How about that? Liquid Courage. I believe that's a thing that happens. Have you ever been on Sky Princess, and if so, how was it? Yes, I liked it because it had a lot of. I liked the design of it, and it was the first princess ship that didn't necessarily look blue on the inside. It used a lot of autumnal colors, if I can use a word that my daughter Marissa taught me. Autumnal. It was a lot of browns and those kind of things. Pretty cool. That's noisy. Is anybody on a solar eclipse cruise? Don't look directly in the light. What's up with that? What's up with that? We didn't really ask anybody to hit the like button, Bill, that much. Question: if you're on a budget, would you spend 2 or 3 Margaritaville cruises, or wait a year and do a year or two and save for Virgin voyages? For me, I like to cruise a lot, so that's always the question. I mean, that even is the question with: would you rather do 1 balcony or 2 interiors? I'm gonna do whatever I'd get. I mean, it depends. Like I think Margaritaville. I don't know if it's as nice as Virgin Voyages, but Margaritaville. I wouldn't. I'm never looking at Margaritaville, at least the Islander in Tampa, as like some downgrade. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I've had this conversation with my brother-in-law before. Like, is it better to just save up and do one big fancy cruise? I don't. I think if you got the time off and you can get on any cruise, I'm kind of doing that. What line do you think is the best for first time Alaska cruises for 2? Whale watching is a must, and Glacier Excursion. I would go on Princess. Princess usually takes you into Glacier Bay. Not all the cruise lines do that. The naturalists are off the chain. They're going to recommend good excursions, and they have great excursions. I would go Princess. Question: with all the cruises you've been on, has any of it lost its magic? I don't know. I still love going on cruises, so yeah, that's the funny thing. People are like, oh, I wouldn't do social media. As soon as it stops being fun. The wild thing for me is I get to go on a lot of cruises, and I love it. I mean, so I'm still having a lot of fun. What do you know about the entertainment? How is the entertainment on Holland? Holland entertainment's a little hit or miss. Like they're big, like if you go see the live music in the Billboard and those kind of venues, I like that quite a bit. But the big theater is a little weird. They normally show their history of Holland America, and then I feel like the last time I went on Holland, they had like a modern dance show that didn't really have any singers. I didn't necessarily like that. I know that Don enjoyed that show. I didn't like that show. I don't think they were much on production shows, but I might have to revisit. But when I'm thinking about Holland, I'm not thinking about big stage entertainment. I'm thinking about more that small entertainment, the focus on live music. But it's definitely different than going on, like, say, a royal ship or something like that. Yeah, Spiky Pup, I got the whole paddle wheel done. What's it called? It's called the Amelia. That was it was such a fun build. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Quite a bit. I feel like Holland Entertainment is more instrumental type stuff. Yeah, on the big stage, but they definitely have that. Is it Billboard? No, the Rolling Stone. They've got a rock and roll area. They've got a blues area, right? Is House of Blues in there? I don't know. They've got some good live music. Which cruise line do you like the least? I don't know. It's funny. I think Celebrity is the one I've cruised the least lately. Is that the one that you go on the least? Is that the one you like the least? That's probably Celebrity out of all the major lines. I feel like I've been on everybody else more recently. Celebrity. All right, man. 10 o'clock. Any last questions? Yeah, BB Kings. That's what it is. Oh, that's great. Uh, Jenny got me a legit electric piano for Christmas, so I practiced. I bought a little kind of travel piano, and I was learning last year, but I'm excited to get the big one set up because I think that's gonna be fun. Is it so I've been on 10 different cruise lines, Canadian Springs, but I've really never moved up to like Oceania. I haven't done anything like that. I almost, even before that, even before I go on an Oceania or Seven Seas or anything like that, Viking, I think I want to go on a river cruise and a European river cruise before that, honestly. But I've been on 10 different lines. So I've been on Carnival Cruise Line, I've been on Princess, I've been on Royal, I've been on Celebrity, I've been on Margaritaville at Sea, I've been on Holland America Line, I've been on MSC, I've been on Virgin, I've been on NCL. What's the 10th one? I don't know. Disney. So yeah, I've been on 10 different cruise lines, but I haven't gone up that next level. Have the port you sailed from changed the demographic of the cruiser? I feel like Miami has a younger. Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know about the age, but like certainly you go to Texas, there's more Texans. You go to Miami, there's more people from Miami. It's I think it does. Like even New Orleans had a different kind of vibe. Tampa's got a different vibe. So I think you're going to get people that fly into those areas, but you're also going to get a lot of locals. So if you're choosing a cruise port, New York, like MSC in New York's got a lot of New Yorkers. So it's I think it does change. What's worth it more, Crystal Cruises or Explorer Journey? Those Explorer ships look great. I would probably choose Explorer. Would you do a river on American Cruise Line? I don't think I would. Like, I do appreciate the YouTuber Jim Zim, and he does a lot of stuff with the American Cruise Line. It just looks boring to me. Like, again, I think the reason you go on the river is to see the cities, and a lot of the cities, like I'm familiar with a lot of the American cities, so I think I would like to go to Europe and do cities that way. All right, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'm going to get back home to the lovely Jenny B, and we'll do this again really soon. Thank you again. My name's Tony for La Lita Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.